All right, the next example for order of operations is 6 minus 2 times 2 plus 2 to the 5th. This has a whole lot of stuff going on. And remember, you always want to look for parentheses first. We don't have parentheses. And then exponents come next. Well, since we have an exponent here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it in its expanded form. So this is going to be 2 times itself 5 times. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always make sure you have the right number. Then remember what I said earlier about making it simple. I'm going to cover everything else up. So I'm only looking at my exponents. I don't like looking at a lot of things at one time. Then I'm going to take them 2 at a time. I know 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to have 4 times 4 times 2. Don't forget about this 2 on the end. Then I'm going to have 4 times 4 is 16. And bring down that times 2. And do you know what 16 times 2 is? It's 32. So I have mastered this exponent. I have figured out that 2 to the 5th power is 32. Now what I want to do is I want to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this whole problem, and instead of 2 to the 5th, I'm going to put 32 because I don't want all this. I don't want to have to bring it down and not have enough room to work. So I'm going to have 6 minus 2 times 2, because that's what we have here, plus, instead of my exponent, I'm going to put 32 because I've already simplified it. Now what's next? After exponents, you have multiplying and dividing that come from left to right. I have 6 minus 2 times 2. I have multiplication. So 2 times 2 is 4. So that's going to be 6 minus 4 plus 32. Now we don't have anything but subtracting and adding. So remember, you want to do everything from left to right. So the first thing from the left is 6 minus 4. That's going to give me 2. When I bring down that plus 32, 2 plus 32 is 34, and I'm done. So even though it's like a tough problem, work on bit by bit, break it down to little steps, and it will not be that bad. Let's look at D, and we can see another example like that. Notice that I have grouping symbols, but I also have grouping symbols within my grouping symbols. Wow. So that means I'm going to cover up everything but that innermost parentheses. Inside my parentheses, I have 6 minus 4. Well, that gives me 2. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 2, bring down the number outside that parentheses, which is 3, and bring down the plus 4 and the 3. So I just brought everything else down. All I did in this step was the work, the 6 minus 4. Now we still need to work inside the parentheses because it said parentheses first. So inside my parentheses, I have 4 plus 3 times 2. You have to work your multiplication and your division before you work your adding and subtracting. The biggest mistake you guys will make is you will want to add 4 plus 3 and get 7 first. That will make this whole problem wrong. You have to multiply first. So I'm going to bring down my 4 and my addition, and I'm going to multiply 3 times 2 and get 6. Don't forget about your 3. Go ahead and bring it down. Now still inside of my parentheses, I have 4 plus 6. That gives me 10. And if I bring down my parentheses, bring down my 3, the only thing left to do is to multiply. 10 times 3 is 30. So remember your order of operations. It tells you in the order which you can work these problems. And just take it one thing at a time. And it'll make these problems a lot easier. Now the dreaded fractions. Everyone hates fractions. I want to make them easier for you. So what I like to do is I like to cover problems up. And I'm just going to cover up the denominator where you can't even see it. So that means that all I have to do is work things in the numerator. So when I'm working the numerator, notice that I have a grouping symbol. Remember, absolute value counts as a grouping symbol. So if we were to work the grouping symbol inside of our absolute value, I have 3 minus 1. That's going to give me a 2. Now I'm going to have to cover this up with my hand because I can't see. So I have 15 minus the absolute value of 2. And what do you know the absolute value of 2 to be? Well, just 2. Remember, the absolute value is always the positive form of that number. So 15 minus 2 is 13. I'm done with the top. I don't even have to do anything else with the top. So all I did was subtract my absolute value, work my absolute value, then subtract, and I was completely done. On the bottom, I have 12 minus 3 times 2. I have multiplication I have to work first. So I need to say 3 times 2 is 6 first. So I have 12 minus 6, and then 12 minus 6 is just 6. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that 6 all the way over. I cannot reduce 13 over 6, so that's my answer. So even though order of operations sometimes can look hard, remember to take on piece by piece, part by part, and if you have any problems with this on your homework, please let me know. I can work some more examples.